Alright, so I got some cool stuff here to show you. I actually shot this video already, so if it sounds like I'm just like kind of done with it, it's kind of because I shot the video and I'm re-recording it. Not trying to sound that way. Also, it's like late at night and I'm getting ready to go to bed. I'm just finishing a couple things I need to do before I go to bed, so these was one of the things I need to do before I went to bed. Let's start with the records. I got multiple records, surprisingly, and it was really just because I pre-ordered one of these as my one vinyl per month. If you know me, I've been budgeting a system where I have certain items I want to clean out my wish list, so it's like one item per month. So I buy one vinyl a month. So I'll show you that one last. But let's start with these ones. So first one, I found this one on clearance at Walmart, or not Walmart, Target for $8. Pro tip, if you do not have a lot of vinyls and you would like to collect more and pricing is a problem for you, go in the back of the electronics section and dig, because there are a lot of times you will find records just laying in the back and they'll just be sitting there. And if you dig hard enough, you'll find one with the clearance sticker on it and you'll be able to get stuff at a really good deal. So, like these were like at a random nook in the electronics section. I had no idea they were sitting there. I went there, saw some records in there, and I dug through them, and I saw this $8 on clearance. I was like, heck yeah. So I grabbed Moana 2 on vinyl, which is not a great movie. The soundtrack is not as good as the first Moana, but I did have the first Moana on vinyl, so I did want this eventually. I was actually going to pre-order it before Moana came out, but I decided against it. I'm glad I did, because $8 is much better than $30. But look how amazing this is, okay? Look at that. And you get the little whale there and everything. That's pretty fucking cool. They did not have to go the extra mile for this. And this is not like an exclusive version. The only exclusive part of it to Target is the disc here is kind of blue. But other than that, like this pop-up part is not exclusive. So went way harder for this vinyl than they needed to. $8 was the right price. I will say, Target seems to get a lot of the Disney soundtracks on vinyl. And I noticed that, at least for the newer movies, they go on clearance really quick. So if there's any of those you're like, I want to get that, wait, because Target will probably mark them down at some point. So, even if it's not like a clearance price, it'll probably be cheaper at some point. I grabbed U2, the singles. I'm not going to pull out all four the two sides here, but this is a 2 LP set for $12 on clearance. U2's greatest hits, essentially, for $12. Still haven't found what I'm looking for, With or Without You. Sunday, Bloody Sunday. I could go on here, but really cool for $12. What a great deal there. Last vinyl here. This one just came in today. I'm so hyped about this. The Green Album. On vinyl. So, if you don't know, today is actually the 70th anniversary of the Muppets, I believe. And with the 70th anniversary of the Muppets, Disney's putting out like some certain products from their history, like books, things like that. And this album has been released digitally. It's been a CD you could buy, I believe, but you could never buy it on a vinyl. And so this is Disney reprinting this for the first time on vinyl, which is pretty cool. Basically, if you don't know what this album is, it's a parody of the White Album with Kermit the Frog, and it's like a bunch of like cover songs from the Muppets history. So you got a certain band that covers the Muppet Show's theme song, another one that covers the Rainbow Connection, Phenomena, Moving Right Along, like all these different songs from Muppet history in one glorious, beautiful looking album. Look at that art there. That is pretty sick. Yeah, pretty cool album. So if you're a fan of the Muppets, that is out now. Just came out today at the time recording that. Here's the one book I got here. I got the El Tigre and the Many Adventures of Manny Rivera. This is a art book based on the Nickelodeon show. If you don't know what this show was, this was like a really short-lived show. I think it was only like 1 or 2 seasons. I think it might have only been one. But essentially, this show was created by Jorge Gutierrez. Apologize if I pronounced that name wrong. This dude right here, if I'm not mistaken, he, oh, yep, here, this dude right here where my finger's at, he went on to do Book of Life and other stuff. But essentially, this guy created the show, and the show was basically about a dude whose grandpa was this kid whose grandpa he was a supervillain. Look at that art here, it's just so cool. But his grandpa was a supervillain, and his dad was a superhero, and so they're kind of pulling him which ways. It's kind of a thing of, hey, does he become a hero or does he become a good guy? Which one is it? I don't know. And so I believe at the end of the show they did make like 2 endings and kind of let the fans decide. But I believe Nickelodeon refused to air the one where he became a villain. You know, that's the far more interesting one. So, you know, I hope we get a DVD release of that. You know, I know there was like a Burn on Demand one, but I hope we get a actual proper release of that, because that was a really cool show. I don't even think that's on streaming. But yeah, we got an art book. I got that because I mentioned before in the Futurama one, those books are like usually 30 to 40 bucks. And I got that one and the Futurama one for 15 bucks, which is a really good deal. So, really cool stuff. I don't know if I showed this off in another haul video, so I'm going to show this off first. Sandman, Season 1 on 4K. I'm watching through this because the new season. I have never seen the show, and it's pretty good so far. It was like 30 bucks, and I had like, I'd say basically Free Comic Book Day, I have a budget each year. I get $100 together, and I said, all right, I got $100. I'm going to spend it at Free Comic Book Day. This year was kind of lackluster, so I ended up just having $30 left over, so I went and ordered this because I needed it and saved me some money, you know, right? Of not having to buy it later. And I've been able to and also I need it now because the new season, I believe, is coming out in July. So I want to review the season next month when I finish it. I'm on episode 3 of 11. It's a pretty good show, though. So, enjoying that. This one came in a few days ago. Just didn't have a video to throw it into, but I did pre-order the Lilo and Stitch 4K. This is a nice release. It's got a slip cover, which I really enjoy. I think the artwork's great here. It's got the Blu-ray disc with the 4K. I am disappointed with this release for a couple reasons. So, overall, I'm glad this is getting a 4K release. We need more Disney animated movies on 4K. And apparently Disney's animation team actually did the restoration for this. So that's really great. But, so I'm sure it looks great. I haven't watched this yet. I'll probably watch it closer to when the remake I'm not excited about comes out, but you know, it's all the same special features in the bag, nothing new. So if you want to read that there, but what I hate is they give you the 4K and the Blu-ray disc, but the Blu-ray disc is not the same from the double pack. So the double pack was the only way you could buy Lilo and Stitch. You had to buy it with the sequel. So why didn't you just include the Blu-ray with the second one? So that way you could just have both. You know, you don't need a remaster part 2 to 4K. Just have it on the Blu-ray disc like you did in the previous sets. You know, so it made me really go, like, I was like, let me get rid of my Lilo and Stitch Blu-ray, and I had to think about it for a minute. Do I really want to get rid of my copy of Lilo and Stitch 2? And I decided, yeah, I'm never going to rewatch it. You know, I rewatched that movie for video. And if I really wanted to, I could pull it up on Disney Plus, right? I don't need 2 copies of the same movie for another movie I'm not going to watch. But it just would have been nice for the diehard fans, right? Because you're upgrading, you're losing something. And it's always annoying when studios do that kind of stuff, where you upgrade and you lose something because you're upgrading. And that's not really fun. But nevertheless, I do really enjoy having that. And then the last one I grabbed here, grabbed this movie because I love this movie. I meant to upgrade to 4K a while ago, but I don't pre-order Kinos because I have had bad experience pre-ordering Kino Lorber 4Ks. They never come on release day, and so I just never end up getting them because there's just a huge backlog of like Kino Lorber titles I just don't have. But this was like $17. And I pre-ordered some of the new Funko Pops for this announced, which is amazing that we're getting John Waters movies in Funko Pop form. I will support that in any way I can. Love John Waters. I have his Funko Pop actually back there in the cabinet over there. If you can see that giant curio cabinet. So, Loved this movie. I've only seen it once though, and I got it on 4K. And I did have it on Blu-ray, but I got rid of the Blu-ray a while ago because I knew I was going to eventually upgrade this. Glad it came with the slip. But now I will say, if you are debating on getting this released because you already have the Blu-ray, definitely do so, because so your DVD copy back in the day, they did release the director's cut, which was the first time I think that had ever been released, but they never did on the Blu-ray. Well, here it is on Blu-ray. The theatrical version is what's in 4K. Not sure why the director's cut is not. I'm sure there's a reason for that could not be helped on Kino's part, but yeah, there's also new special features here, I believe. So it says brand new HD transfer of a director's cut. So it's not like it was sitting around transfer. It's a new one. So that is pretty cool. I do love this movie, and I probably will be watching this pretty soon because I love this movie. I actually have a couple Kino 4Ks I need to watch. I bought Brokeback Mountain of what it was like $11 and still have not popped that in, so maybe I'll pop those two in. And both those 4Ks are Universal movies, so I don't funny how that works out. I don't know. We'll check that, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. Let me know your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe.